got some time for questions here, and then we need to shuffle downstairs for those of you who want to stick around and keep talking by 5 o'clock. So, any questions in the back?
Do any of these programs apply to existing homes? Like I just built a spec house this last summer, it's for sale for the potential buyer.
Oh, you mean a home that you just built, but kind of going backwards, right? Is that what your question is? Yeah. Good. Not single family, no, but you can back a multifamily project. You could refi. Yeah, yeah.
I do want to mention too, we have a similar program for multifamily that we do for single family. So we work with PACE as far as the energy efficiency upgrades to it. We have rebates for that on our multifamily side. It would be in our commercial and industry, which would be next week, right, Brett? When is your
Fall. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't freak me out. Yeah.
So I heard nonprofit, business industry, churches, etc. How about municipalities? Are they in on this too? A new city hall, a new township hall, a new fire station?
I would be more on the retrofit end if you want to make improvements on existing building. But I would filter in.
Oh, so on our commercial and industry side, yes, also. So I would. I'm not the person that has all the information on it, but I can make the right connection for you.
Your answer is no, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's the question?
Okay, so basically, let's talk about multifamily. That's the question. Multifamily, basically anything that's above 4 units, we can qualify, and so basically anything that results in energy savings or water savings, and if it's going to be more than 250,000 in financing, has a positive net positive cash flow. And anything under 250,000, you don't have to worry about the cash flow. Haven't done anything under 117. We have one in the works for 80,000, but it's really hard to find lenders to lend $80,000 for 25 years.
I wanted to follow up on this question too about the portfolio. So if you've got like a large development, like multifamily, and then some scattered single family around, and it's all within the same, would you be able to have all of those single family in?
Yeah, it's a hard maybe. We have to look at it. We have to look at things that are sort of like one plot of land with some single family and some multifamily and maybe community center. We look at it on a case by case basis. The closer it looks like it's commercial, if it's not 37 different owners, if 37 different parcels, that looks less commercial. Condos also are commercial. I mean, aren't commercial, but maybe the common spaces are. So we look at it case by case.
The single family portion too is 4 units and under. So anything over 5 goes to what we call business and industry. And if you have a fourplex, that can still be in our single family realm.
We also recently just added rentals of 4 or below units. The owner can finance through our program on the residential end. That's an update in the last 2 weeks, probably.
I wanted to say real quick, we've got Sam here with representing Great Lakes Energy, and you can talk real quick about some of their incentives. And actually, he just sold a net zero home that we took a look at, so very cool. He knows it.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Sam Simonetta. I'm with the Energy Optimization Program. Similar to Yvonne's program in consumers, every utility in Michigan is going to have a rebate program or an incentive program. I represent the programs for Great Lakes Energy, Midwest Energy, and Tri-County, and the city of South Haven as well. But so there's incentives out there, no matter what utility you're in, for things like heat pumps. For instance, the incentive for ground source and air source heat pumps for us is up to $750. So contractors, you might, if you're not aware of this already, it's a great thing for for you to know and to pass on to your customers. Incentives for heat pump water heaters up to up to $500, and that's even for new construction. So just be aware there's money out there, like Yvonne said. Um, you're paying into the program. Everybody in Michigan is paying into their utilities energy optimization program, so you might as well take advantage of the money that's there, and provide incentives for your customers.
Any other questions? Yeah, John.
As the market for solar and energy efficiency is maturing and more people are gravitating for it, are you finding that banks and credit unions are becoming more and more comfortable with making loans for people to install solar and energy efficiency measures?
On our end, we have a guideline that we have in place with each of our. I'll skew towards residential in this question. That as long as they meet the eligible measure list and the loan value does not exceed their maximum value, then they're equal to loan for windows as they are to solar. They don't differentiate. We are potentially looking at another nationwide lender that would focus on the renewable end, but I haven't seen their guidelines to be able to firmly state that now. I'm guessing, judging by the terms that they're giving, they feel more secure in lending to renewable direct than the others, but until that's in place, it's a standard rate. Does that answer it well enough?
I'll also say that in the PACE world, the lenders aren't banks; they're sort of private equity type entities that have access to capital, institutional capital, so pension funds, anything like that, and they're absolutely fine with renewables because renewables are carved out in the statute as something explicitly allowed for.
And I wanted to add to that, we're having conversation with lenders, credit unions, banks, just kind of reaching out to them and saying, hey, what do you think about all this? How can we, help break down these barriers? And I will say, Freddie Mac is putting out something new this month. It's coming out now called Green Choice. And it's a Freddie program, and it's new and existing. And the whole idea is it's supposed to extend borrowing power to conventional mortgages for projects that are doing higher upfront costs for energy efficiency. And so ask your credit union and your bank, kind of flip the question back to them and say, hey, are you looking at this? Can you explore it? Can you see if it's something we can use? And I think you just have to ask those questions.
And it's not a question, and maybe there's a question in it. I've heard about appraisal come up and home value where getting this energy efficiency in. Are we tying in the local municipality, the taxing unit, the assessors who are going to look at that new home and give it its value and following the state tax commission's guidelines? Have they been brought into this loop as, and how is that going to affect people's property taxes in their homes?
I think the answer to that, my son is a property tax assessor.
Okay.
And he just texted me a little while ago in Florence, and he's doing a home that's a net zero home. Who happens to be Art Toy. Everybody know Art Toy. He's been involved with Great Lakes Energy, and he just happens to say, hey, I'm out at this house, and he's net zero, and so I text him. I says, so, do you assess Art Toy's home more because of his solar panels on the property? His response, the state of Michigan has just changed its laws regarding that, and I think that was in December of 2018, and they now have to be assessed. His boss, Ben, and I aren't sure the best way to do that yet, but in the past few years, they've always picked them up as informational items and took a picture and put it on the record card. In my opinion, I don't think they should be taxed, as they are intended to be relocatable, and in the state, it is out to make their money, basically is what he's saying. So, there's a bonus for.
Oh, thanks. It's not a new law. The state tax tribunal made a decision on their own to start taxing solar as real property.
And from 2002 to 2013, ironically under John Engler, it was not taxed. And so there is legislation to change all this. In fact, Republican bills were overwhelmingly supported and enacted in the House and Senate last cycle, and then Governor Snyder vetoed the bill for unclear reasons, ridiculous reasons, and I bumped into him at a restaurant in Ann Arbor and chewed him out a little bit. Meanwhile, in the House, Representative Colley and Representative Robbie from Ann Arbor, they had the identical bills, and they went to the House Taxation Committee. They passed out of House Taxation, and now they're in the House Ways and Means Committee. So we are 90% confident that we're going to be able to get these bills enacted through the legislature. And we've already had conversations with Governor Whitmer's staff, and every indication is that she's going to be very supportive. So we are confident that state assessors around the state will not tax solar installations, but the taxes will go up once the house is sold under normal law in Michigan, where your house can only go up by 5% of inflation until the house is sold, and then that property gets reappraised at market value. So if in fact solar does increase the value of the house, then that will show up once the house is sold. So stay tuned. No, I mean the new construction, you're right. I mean, you build a house and the house is going to be appraised immediately, but that house under normal law, this has nothing to do with solar, the taxes can only go up by 5% of inflation, whichever is less. That's because of Proposal A back literally 20 years ago, and that law still applies today.
So I think on a side spin of that, also on residential, Mark or George would probably be the best one to
explain this properly. There's a Pearl certification that can be attained for houses now. That's just essentially entering Michigan. The project number is low, but where they will provide assessed value of improvements made. Is that a?
Yeah, they provide an appraisal addendum, but that's not necessarily turned into tax office.
You're right. So it would be hypothetically, it could potentially be better than a full appraisal, but where it's an addendum where it shows the improvements that have been made to the house show real value as opposed to being hidden behind the walls.
Yeah, if you're trying to do a project like this, new construction or renovation, and you go to your lender and you say, well, it's going to add a little bit more above the cost, and the appraiser comes out that a lot of appraisers aren't currently recognizing this value. So there's something out there called the Appraisal Institute, which has a green addendum to it, which gives appraisers training and tool to properly value these homes. And then the thing that Pearl's done is taken it one step further and said, hey, we're going to make that really easy for you, because a lot of appraisers just still, even with all those tools, are still not doing it or concerned about comps or just general understanding and being too busy. So very helpful tools out there. So make sure you talk to your lenders about Pearl and about about the green addendum from the Appraisal Institute.
I've got something really general that I kind of want to ask you about, but I'd like to ask you with the group just in case other people might be into this. First of all, are we going to do this next week?
Yeah, well, so yeah, I'm glad you said that, and I do have a second here to talk a little bit about that. So yeah.
The follow-up is this. I mean, one of the things that I've noticed in the Chicago area is that real estate is just so expensive. If you live in a place that's close to public transportation and has good schools and all that stuff. And one of the things I realized when I started talking to people about how much homes cost, no matter what it is, whether type of homes or not, the single-family detached home is just inherently expensive and it uses a lot of energy. And so I'm really interested in good examples of smaller, whether it's duplexes or 4 units or kind of different ways to infill more affordable homes in existing neighborhoods, especially in built-up places like Chicago. So that would just be something I'd really love to hear about and see examples of, and maybe put on the track for next time, or if anybody has great resources.
Yeah.
Many of the builders that are applying for rebates right now are we're finding they're building 2 and 4-plex, some 5. It's hard for me to rebate on 5. It goes into the commercial industry. I'm squeaking and by. I'm not getting much savings out of them, but 2 and 4, I've noticed the trend of builders doing large subdivisions of 2 and 4-plex.
wanted to say too, the idea of right-sized housing, being able to build to a right size. I don't want to say tiny house, but you know, sometimes local municipal laws get in the way of how small you can build a house, and so that can increase costs and energy. And then other times it's just you know, what you think can actually be done. And so one here, we didn't have time today, but Bruce Thompson, Urbaneers, right here in Grand Rapids, doing some fantastic stuff. He's got his own house here, which I believe was built to the legally allowable minimum standard right in the city. And so, you know, check them out, urbaneers.com. They've got some great products and design strategies to, I think, kind of get what you're saying is, you know, making homes more affordable by, you know, making you live larger in a smaller footprint is kind of what you're getting at. So, yeah. All right. Well, I don't see anybody, so thanks again. Thanks for all of you for joining us. If you need validation, make sure to get that done right here. We're going to head downstairs to the Brassworks room and keep hanging out. And then, yeah, Detroit in the fall, and then hopefully we can do another conference again next year. So we'll let you know about it. So thank you.